The associative law for addition goes something like this. Opening parenthesis A plus B, closing parenthesis plus C equals A plus opening parenthesis B plus C closing parenthesis. The associative law for multiplication goes something like this. Opening parenthesis A times B, closing parenthesis times C equals A times opening parenthesis B times C closing parenthesis. Whose name was John? Qui nomen erat Johannes. Whose name was John? Qui nomen erat Johannes. A subordinate clause, also known as a dependent clause, does not express a complete thought and cannot stand alone. A subordinate clause, also known as a dependent clause, does not express a complete thought and cannot stand alone. In 1969, U.S. astronauts Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin were the first men to walk on the moon. In 1969, U.S. astronauts Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin were the first men to walk on the moon.
This is Cece, Cycle 3, Week 21, History. Tell me about U.S. astronauts. So it starts off with in 1969, and they say it a couple times, and it's kind of spacey sounding, so you go in 1969, in 1969. So you're switching from 6 to 9. U.S., so you're just going to salute U.S. astronauts. That's the ASL sign for rocket. Neil, you'll just show the N for Neil Armstrong, and Edwin, this is your E, Edwin Aldrin were the first men to walk on the moon. So you're gonna do a spacewalk. So we'll start that from the beginning. In 1969, U.S. astronauts Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin were the first men to walk on the moon. Good luck.
What does the theory of evolution rely on? The theory of evolution relies on the belief that life began as a chance combination of non-living things. What does the theory of evolution rely on? The theory of evolution relies on the belief that life began as a chance combination of non-living things.
This week we will be learning the Native American territories, and there are a lot of them, 8 total. In order to remember them, I put them in an order that spells out GNC-SEP, G-N-C-S-E-P-P, kind of like GNC supplement. Hopefully that will help you remember. So the first one is the Great Basin, and the Great Basin is right here, the Great Basin territory. So it's kind of yellow. Then you have the Northwest Coast, which is this little kind of purpley pink one up here. It actually also goes down into Alaska. So remember, Alaska would be way up there. That's also part of the Northwest Coast. Then you have California territory, which is right in here. And the Southwest territory, which is this green area here. Think of Southwest Airlines. Then you have the Eastern Woodlands. 2 parts, you have the Northeast and the Southeast. So this pink and purpley area over here kind of takes off all the East Coast. And then you have the plains up here in the green, and you have the plateau way up here, this kind of like peachy pink color. Okay, so now I ask and you point. Where is the Great Basin? Where is the Northwest Coast? Where is the California? region? Where is the Southwest region? Where is the Eastern Woodlands? Where are the plains? Where is the plateau? And now I point and you tell me.
And here is our new song for this week. The Eastern Woodland Territory, east of the Mississippi. The Northeast Woodlands run to Northern Virginia and the top of Tennessee. The Plains Territory is hopped down by the Rockies and the Mississippi. The Northwest Coast, west of Cascades, Washington, the Oregon by the sea. The Plateau Territory has Northern Rockies and the Southern Cascades, California and the Great Basin, Middle Rockies to Mount Whitney. The Southwest Territory has the deserts and the Southern Rockies. It follows Rio Grande River to Texas, tip a triangle you see. Japan's isolation, Jamestown and Plymouth Colony founded. Age of Enlightenment, circa 1650 to circa 1800. Hudson Bay Company, first great awakening, classical period of the arts, the 7 Years' War. Yes. Timeline, this is my timeline. Age of industry, circa 1760 to circa 1969. James Cook sails to Australia and Antarctica. American Revolution and General George Washington. Madison's Constitution and the Bill of Rights. French Revolution, the Second Great Awakening. Louisiana Purchase and Lewis and Clark Expedition. Napoleon crowned Emperor of France. Liberation of South America. The War of 1812, the Missouri Compromise. Immigrants flock to America. The Monroe Doctrine, Romantic period of the arts. Cherokee Trail of Tears, U.S. westward expansion. Marx publishes the Communist Manifesto. The Compromise of 1850 and the Dred Scott Decision. U.S. restores trade with Japan. British Queen Victoria's rule over India. Darwin publishes The Origin of Species. Lincoln's War between the states, reconstruction of the southern states, dominion of Canada, Otto and Bismarck unifies Germany, Boer Wars in Africa, the Spanish-American War, the Progressive Era. Australia becomes a Commonwealth, Mexican Revolution, World War I and President Wilson. Lenin and the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. U.S. evangelist Billy Graham. Modern period of the arts. The Great Depression and the New Deal. Yes. World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Stalin of the USSR and the Katyn massacre. The United Nations formed. The Cold War. Gandhi and India's independence. Jewish state established. Mao and communist victory in China.
This is CC Cycle 3, Week 21 timeline. It starts off with World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt. So you're going to assign a W, World War, and switch around for your 2, and President Franklin Delano, or D, Roosevelt. Then you have Stalin of the USSR and the Katyn massacre. So you're going to show the mustache, Stalin, and the USSR and the Katyn. Here's your K, it's going to go underneath the Katyn massacre. So several people died because of Stalin. That's how you're going to sign that. You have the United Nations formed. You're just going to show United Nations formed. The Cold War, like you're really cold, the Cold War. Then you have Gandhi, so you're going to show G for Gandhi. Gandhi and India's independence. The Jewish states, you're going to show their beards, the Jewish men's beards. The Jewish state established. And then you have Mao, so you're going to sign M for Mao. Mao and communist China, communist victory in China. You wouldn't sign victory, just China. Okay, so we'll start from the beginning. World War II and President Franklin Delano D. Roosevelt, Stalin and the USSR and the Katyn massacre. The United Nations, the Cold War, Gandhi and India's independence, Jewish state established, and Mao and communist victory in China. Good luck.
Hi, Trenton and Brianna.
Hi.
Today we're going to continue learning about probability. Do you remember what probability means?
Probability is basically chance.
Yeah, it's the study of if we're going to get something or not. The likelihood of getting an outcome, okay? So remember, probability equals desired outcome over total outcomes. So today we are going to walk into a pretend store and we're going to call it Probability Pizza. And you are going to grab a box from the pizza man and it's just going to be whatever he gives you. And you're going to figure out the probability of getting the pizza that you would want. What would you need to know in order to figure out your probability of what you're going to get?
The different types of pizzas there are.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and put this together. So this is our Probability Pizza Company board, and it says that you can order cheese, pepperoni, or sausage, or sausage as a topping on your pizza. So you could get cheese, or you could get just pepperoni, or you could get just sausage, or you could get cheese and pepperoni, or you could get cheese and sausage, or you could get pepperoni and sausage, or you could get cheese, pepperoni, and sausage. So, Trenton, what is the probability that you would get your favorite pizza, which is, I don't know what, pizza and pepperoni and cheese?
All.
Which one would you pick?
All of them.
Pepperoni, cheese, and sausage? Okay, so what's the probability that you would get cheese, pepperoni, and sausage?
1/7.
1/7. Nice. All right, so I'm going to change it up. What if he said, just kidding, I have a new topping and it's called pineapple? Then what happens? You could have pineapple, or you could have pineapple and cheese, or you could have pineapple and sausage, or you could have pepperoni, cheese, pineapple, or you could have cheese and sausage and pineapple, or you could have pineapple and pepperoni and sausage, or you could have cheese, pepperoni, sausage, and pineapple. So how many is that?
14.
14. So what is the chance, what would you order if you had the chance of pineapple, cheese, pepperoni, and sausage, all of them or one or whatever, any combination, what would you choose?
I would have Pepperoni, pineapple, and cheese.
Pepperoni, pineapple, and cheese. Okay, so what's the probability that you would get that?
1/14.
1/14. Good. 1/14. Okay, so what we're studying today is called combinations. So,
me.
Brianna, what kind of pizza would you want?
A cheese pizza one.
Just cheese pizza? No pepperoni? No sausage? Would you want tomato sauce on it? No tomato sauce? Oh, you would? Okay, would you want gluten-free crust or regular crust?
Regular crust.
Regular crust. Okay, thanks, Brianna.
Bye.
So what we're studying today is called combinations, which is an arrangement of objects in which the order doesn't matter. Okay?
Okay.
So what if I added on to that and said, okay, so now there's a gluten-free crust or a regular crust. Now what would happen?
You would have two crusts and then the 4 toppings.
Right, but then could you just order the crust? I guess we would have to make that distinction. Like you can order the pizza with just crust and nothing else, or it has to be the crust and all those options. So that would change your probability number, wouldn't it? Okay, so give me an example of where in daily life you would need combinations.
Maybe.
Let's say you go into your closet.
Oh yeah, closet. Because you'd have to choose a shirt and then shorts and then shoes and socks.
Right, so there could be a whole bunch of things. It gets even crazier when you're a girl, right? Because it's like earrings and hair bow and all that fun stuff. So you could do that. But what happens when the order does matter? Do you know what it's called? It's called a permutation. Okay, and where would we need to use permutation probability?
Like
And the rock.
a delivery?
No. How about horses? How about horse racing? Right? Because now it matters who's first, who's second, who's third. It's not about who's just going to show. It's the order that they're going to show up in. And actually, if you go to the racetrack, which you're not allowed to bet because you're not old enough, but you could still go to a racetrack and look at that guide that they give you. They actually show you the probability of the chance that that horse is going to win. And they base it on to how that horse has performed in the past. So it gets really detailed, right? And then you would bet on whichever horse you think is going to win. Or you could bet, I bet that this horse is going to show first, this horse second, this horse third, and then that becomes like a larger sum of money because the probability of you getting that right becomes a lot smaller. Okay, and then another interesting thing is, you know how, have you ever had a combination lock?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it really a combination lock or is it a permutation lock?
It's a combination lock.
Well, but what about permutation? Didn't we just talk about how in combination the order doesn't matter? Does the order matter on a combination lock?
Yeah.
It does. Because if you put them in the wrong order, it wouldn't open, right? So should it be called a combination lock or a permutation lock?
Permutation lock.
That's right. Thanks so much, Trenton.
Okay.
Claude Debussy was born in 1862 and passed away in 1918. He was a French composer known for his impressionistic style. His greatest masterpiece is La Mer, which we'll be listening to today, which also translates to the sea. He tries to recreate all the ocean's various moods in a kaleidoscope collage of melody, tone, color, and harmony. The last movement of the piece is the most exciting, with a cymbal crash and a thrilling conclusion. Thank you, Debussy, for showing us how to recreate the ocean with music.